Hi, I'm Dana and I'm a reseller on Poshmark. Today I'll be working on some repairs to some of my items that I plan to resell. I'll go over what I'm doing and I'll try to add timestamps below so you could go straight to specific repairs or watch the whole video and work along with me. I'll attempt a whole bunch of different fix-its and we can see if they're successful or not. Also, please leave me comments. I would love to hear how you would handle them too.
Okay, this first item is this gold and cream long open front cardigan by Akemi and Kin. I didn't notice this big snag, but I thought a little bit of weave would restore this really nice sweater. So here I have these really big needles, and I also picked up this little bit of yarn from Michaels, and it cost me like $1.50 for that little bunch, and it was a really good match, color match. So I've never used yarn to repair one of these sort of chunky knit sweaters, and I've used thread to mend sweaters that are more of a fine weave, so I couldn't see myself using thread for this, and that's what made me think, I think if we just get a little bit of yarn, we could really mend up this big snag in a good way. And the reason why I think it's a snag as opposed to a hole is it's not unraveling, so that's good. So again, you could just see how you kind of weave back and forth to close up the gap. So yeah, you can see it was much better. And this next item is this Eileen Fisher tank top. It's 100% linen. And there were two little tiny holes right in the front area. So what I thought I'd do is just mend up those two little holes and just using regular black thread. So here I just turned the item inside out, and it's pretty much just adding a couple of quick stitches just to close up the gap. So one of the things that I thought would be fun is if I would kind of rate these fix-its that I'm doing. So with the first long cardigan, I actually really liked how that came out, so I would give that a 9 out of 10. And I'm happy with how it came out, and it seems like it's going to be pretty strong and durable. So this video is my second fix-it video, and I was inspired by Courtney from Common Tags. She did a couple of videos about working with her for large chunks of time using the Pomodoro Method, and I'll definitely link her videos below so you can check them out. Her first video was where she worked, and she didn't really talk over her video too much, and it was mainly music, and then after these, I think it was 25 minutes chunks of time, she would have like a 15-minute break. And I really appreciated working that way. For me, a lot of talk over is a little bit distracting. But in her second video, she mentioned how I think people wanted more talk. And so I thought, well, that, you know, we could try, I'll try that on my own video and see if, you know, if you guys prefer it. And, you know, please let me know, you know, which direction you prefer. And, you know, my fix-it videos are a little bit different than Courtney's. You know, I'm really focusing on, you know, items to repair, as well as I don't use the Pomodoro Method. So it's just pretty much, you know, just this lengthy video, and, you know, hopefully you can work alongside with me, and, you know, we both have company while we work. I'd rate it an 8 out of 10 because the holes are no longer noticeable and the black makes the mend almost invisible. Next piece is this Rachel Zoe long skirt, and it's missing its inner button. So I found this little button in my sewing kit, and I thought I would just attach it on the inside. It is a little smaller than the hole, but I think if I position it correctly, it should be fine. So I'm gonna match the color of the fabric, which is more of a cream color. So I learned how to sew back when I was about 12 or 13. I used to spend some summers in Hawaii at my grandma's house, and my mom signed me up for a singer sewing class during the summer, and it was great. I mean, I sat in front of a sewing machine, learned how to sew, you know, simple sewing techniques, with a bunch of other 12 or 13-year-old girls. So it was really fun. So the trick is to just match up the button to the buttonhole. And also, the challenge was not to poke the needle and the thread to the other side, because I didn't want to have the thread showing on the front. Oh no, here comes Ariel. Ariel the kitty. She's very curious. Oh, hello, Ariel. I think actually it's not curiosity. I think she's hungry. We've had Ariel, I think, for 14 years. And she's a sometimes sweet cat. Yeah, so we have two animals, Sven, our dog, and Ariel the cat. So, you know, as a reseller, the challenge is to keep the animal fur away from the garments. And so I've been able to do a pretty good job of that by, after processing the items, storing it in these covered bins. So Sven, he's kind of a hypoallergenic dog, and he doesn't shed, but Ariel certainly does, so have to be careful of her fur. She's very persistent. So I'm just checking to make sure the position is okay, looks good, and the thread doesn't show up in the front, which is good. So I wrap around the button like that. It helps secure the button, makes it a little stronger. So I think for this mend, I would rate it maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10. Maybe an 8 out of 10. What would have made it perfect is if I went out and bought a button that was, you know, a little bit bigger, and also maybe either white or cream or clear. But I don't know, I think this one will do its job, so pretty happy with that, and now I can go ahead and list it. So next we have this mauve, really pretty sort of peasant blouse. It's made out of a linen cotton blend fabric, and it had these pulls on the back seams, however, which was discouraging. I'm sad about that. But I thought maybe I could stitch it up to reinforce it so that it doesn't split. I'm just using some pretty simple back and forth small stitches to try to pull the fabric closer to the seam. Unfortunately, I don't know about a lot of different stitching techniques, so if you guys have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments and I can, go ahead and Google it and look it up. So my method of stitching is kind of pulling the fabric and making it a little bit puckered. So it's not super pretty, but at this point I really just want to reinforce it so that the seam doesn't break. And what I'll do is when I'm ready to list it, I'll go ahead and take before and after photos so that the buyer can see where the repair was done. And usually, depending on the repair and how good it is, I will discount the list price accordingly. So I think what's good is that, what could have been something that would have been terrible, like, the garment, tearing or breaking while, the person is wearing it. We're making it so that it's more wearable and it's giving, more life to this garment. Otherwise, this item was in really, really great condition. So I wonder if you guys saw this piece in the thrift store or at the bins, would you have picked it up or would you have thrown it back? I'm just kind of wondering about that myself because, I didn't notice this until I got home. And, probably that's most of my repairs are, I didn't notice it until I got home. So I don't know, would I have thrown it back? In this case, I think I would have still picked it up because this shirt was really in good condition. The fabric was, a good blend. It felt new. And also, the tag said, I think it was made by Anthropology, so I knew it was a newer piece. So we'll see how it does after I get it listed. So I think for this one I rate it maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10, just because the puckering is not really great. It doesn't look so great, but what I do like is that it is reinforced. And you know, the area or the size of the pull is pretty small. So I think you can see there's a little bit of puckering, but sort of that ripped or pulled part of the fabric is tucked away. And even after pulling it, you can't see it. Okay, so the next item is this Kate Spade purse. It's in a very, very dark navy, and it has 3 out of the 4 corners have like little holes in them from wear. And what I tried doing at first was just taking a Sharpie pen and coloring the white sort of plastic structure that's on the inside. But I realized that that was not a good fix because the Sharpie would, you know, pretty easily rub off. So what I thought I'd try is adding some acrylic paint just to those 3 corners. And my thinking is more to camouflage the white structure rather than repairing the hole. The purse is actually in really, really great condition except for these 3 little tiny flaws. So I thought this is, you know, worth doing. And again, I'd go ahead and sort of take pictures and mention the repair in the listing. And then also discount it depending on how good the repair looks in the end. Yeah, so I think this repair, I'd rate it maybe an 8 out of 10 because my goal was to camouflage and not fix the holes. And I think it did a pretty good job. Okay, this next item is this Mark Andrews lamb leather white jacket, and it's pretty dingy because it's a little bit dirty. So what I thought I'd try doing is mixing a little bit of Dawn dish soap and some baking soda and taking this rag and just wiping away. I think what I started to notice was that the leather was starting to turn like a little bit blue, and I couldn't tell if it was because maybe the color was coming off of the rag or if it was, the combination of the Dawn dish soap with the baking soda, but I'm trying to wipe it up and see if it will come off. So at this point I'm like, okay, well, it must be the rag. So I'm, dipping just this white paper towel into the dish soap and baking soda solution, trying to rub off the blue. And that didn't seem to work, so let's check this side, see if it's the solution or if it's the rag. So it doesn't seem to be the solution, so I'm going to stick with the paper towel. So I don't know if you guys have been affected by Poshmark's change in their search function. It's been pretty much the talk of, I don't know, the YouTube community, reseller community. And, I really don't know how to address this because, I'm not a high volumes reseller. And I haven't been reselling for a full year yet. So it's kind of hard for me to tell if my sales have slowed down or not. But I can say that, in the last couple of weekends, I've had pretty slow weekend sales, which is kind of unusual. Usually my weekday sales are slower, and then my weekend sales are a lot more vigorous. So I don't know if it's because of this change. But yeah, so I think if I can sort of quickly discuss what this search change was, is that traditionally Poshmark, their default search is just shared, and Poshmark is really reliant on, everybody sharing their items, several times a day. And then that brings your items up to the top of the search. However, what supposedly has changed is that it's now recommended search. And, I'm not really sure what recommended search is, other than it's more of what a potential buyer would type into the search bar. So rather than sort of a long descriptive title, potential buyers might type in, just a short, like, I think, Madewell jeans, as opposed to, Madewell high-rise button front, skinny jeans in medium wash. So, I can say that pretty much all my listings are, long titles. And, I can link a couple of videos below, that talk about this, and, what they recommend. But, I'm trying, some of the more the short recommended titles on a couple of my listings, just to see if there's any differences. So yeah, so we'll see. But, I know that this is a big topic because, a lot of people, really rely on Poshmark sales. And, Poshmark is my main platform, and I'm trying to make a living, being a reseller. So I definitely need to stay on top of this, and, and hopefully all of you are doing okay and that your sales haven't been affected by all of this. Oh, so I'd like to mention that for this I sort of swapped out and using this leather cleaner, and I'm pretty frugal. And I figured I would go ahead and try this leather cleaner that's actually for car interiors. And I just got it over at Target. And so I'm just going ahead and, spraying it all over and just really, rubbing it in. So this is supposed to also clean and condition. I don't love this jacket. The style seems, a little bit outdated, but in the end, I think it cleaned up really nicely. I'm pretty happy with the results. So I think if I were to rate it, I'd give it about maybe an 8 out of 10. And, I can list it and see how it does. Okay, so I don't know if this is a repair or not, but I have a bunch of linen shirts that definitely are very, very wrinkled. And I decided, since I only have a small handheld steamer, that I would go ahead and break out the iron and ironing board and just, go through and iron these shirts. So this first one is a J-Gel, 100% linen lavender shirt, which is really, really pretty, size small. And I did wash all of these shirts, but I did throw them into a bag in the back of my closet, and thinking that I would, wait until, it was close to spring. So since spring is around the corner, it's time to get these things listed. So ironing reminds me of my childhood, or when I was growing up. Both my mom and dad worked. They're both actually hairdressers, and they had different shops, different businesses. And every morning, my mom, before I would go to school, she would iron my dad a shirt, a fresh shirt. And so it was funny because, I always thought, well, Mom, why don't you just iron 7 shirts at one time, and then, we could put away the ironing board. We had the ironing board was always out, and it was a permanent fixture in our dining room kitchen area. And it was just the way my mom did it. You know, every morning she'd freshly iron a shirt. Which, come to think of it, was really, really nice of her. But that was the style back then, that, you know, the wife would do everything, even though she had a full-time job. Yeah, I think I picked up a couple of Garnet Hill 100% linen shirts too. This one was in a nice sort of heathered gray color. I think it's a large. So I heard that last spring and summer, linen did really well, and so during, you know, fall and winter, whenever I would see linen, I'd just pick it up at the bins, and I would just store it in the back of my closet, you know, waiting for spring. So how is everybody's listing going? Are you listing a lot of spring items now? I'm starting to really focus on spring things, and you know, I'm hopeful that my winter items will sell. Today's date is February 20th, and you know, I'm over here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's kind of a cold, cloudy day, but our cold is about 50 degrees, maybe, you know, 40, and when it's really chilly, it gets down into the 30s. So we have pretty mild weather here. So I do hear that it is probably snowing in other parts of the country, so definitely still winter in many areas. So I hope some of you are ironing or steaming alongside me, or, you know, listing, photographing. That's one thing about this reseller community that's so great, is that I think there's quite a few of us out there, and you know, these videos are really helpful to get us through the day. I know that I really love watching like ship with me videos. You know, the longer the better. And you know, as some of you know, I love Mackenzie's Ship With Me videos, so I'll oftentimes ship alongside with her. Some other videos that I enjoy are Ginger Marvin, when they go through and they pull items from their storage bins or the inventory bins. And what's really nice is the two of them are, you know, chatting. So it's almost like I'm back at work, you know, working at a company and just sitting at my pod with, you know, other coworkers, and, you know, they're chatting along, and, you know, I can just hear them in the background. It just makes the day go by faster, and, you know, it's more fun. Yeah, so here's this really pretty green linen shirt. I think this was a charter club shirt. Really feels like spring. This one is Assembly Label. I've never heard of this brand. I'm definitely going to look it up because it's 100% linen, and the tag looks really nice, and the quality of the fabric was really, really nice. I just remember that when I was ironing this, it didn't take that much effort to iron out the wrinkles, so that was really nice. It was a quick iron, and I like to spray water on the fabric. That helps just create steam, and the stubborn wrinkles come out easier, quicker. This really reminds me of ironing shirts for my dad. Sometimes I would help my mom, and I would, you know, iron a whole bunch of shirts for my dad so that she could have a little break. So I've been going through my death pile and my fix-it piles, and taking care of that and listing. And you know, because I really wanted to get, you know, focus on those items first, I haven't been thrifting this February. And you know, I am actually really dying to get back to sourcing, so I'm almost there. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining me, and you know, I really hope you enjoyed this, and you know, you were able to get some work done, you know, along with me. I got a lot accomplished today, so I'm really happy. And you know, if you enjoyed it, please think about subscribing and giving me a thumbs up. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.